Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to review my army list that I used at a 3-game tournament last weekend. I managed to go 2 wins and 1 loss and came 16th of 42 players. So very chuffed that I managed a decent performance. There were 2 other Astra Militarum commanders and I'll touch on their performance as well. So my list starts on 5 command points in a battalion detachment, with gunnery experts and spotter details. Headquarters slots are filled by 3 tank commanders, with 1 with a demolisher cannon, with heavy bolter and a pair of heavy flamers. The other 2 tank commanders have got battle cannons with las cannons and either a pair of plasma cannons or multi-melter. The demo tank commander has master mechanic for -1 incoming damage, and the plasma cannon equipped tank commander has got weapon expert for AP -3 battle cannon. I then have 5 infantry squads with all the war gear, a single siren squad with voxcaster, and 3 command squads, all with voxcasters and 2 with banner bearers. It's then 2 platoon commanders and a special weapon team with plasma guns. And then I've got 3 standard Leman Russes, all with demolisher cannons. One of these has just got a single heavy bolter, whilst the other 2 have got heavy bolters and a pair of heavy flamers. I then have a double flamer Chimera, and my favourite Astra Militarum unit being a Hades breach and drill ×2. So the rough theory behind this list is to lean into all the recent rule changes and those units that have benefited the most. And of course build around our new secondary objectives. The 6 Leman Russ all have the obvious benefit of a 2+ save with Armour of Contempt that really kept them around, whilst the infantry squads have got all the free war gear. The demo cannons are clearly brutal, and heavy flamers benefit from gunnery experts, making a decent charge deterrent and still contributing if it gets tagged in melee. Now the tank commanders with battle cannons were purposely paired with the longer range las cannons and plasma cannons, with spotter details giving the multi-melter a 30-inch range. They are the first part of my game plan, being paired with a normal Russ and the 1 Chimera to score inflexible command. These 2 battle cannon tank commanders were to hang back and take advantage of the longer range, whilst a demo tank commander would be up the front in the centre deployed more aggressively. The breaching drills usually had 1 in deep strike with the accompanying command squad with banner, whilst the other one was on the board with another command squad also with a banner bearer. Given both the secondaries boots on the ground and inflexible command are scored by regiment infantry units, I had to flip my thinking from protecting my Russes with infantry to protecting my infantry with Russes. In the games I played, this actually was quite easy, given they are the single biggest destructive threat in my list. It was only in 1 game that my opponent actually went after my infantry in turn 1 with 10 rubric space marines, wiping out an infantry squad, before being revenged and decimated by 5 Leman Russes. Now still the tournament itself, game 1 was against an Imperial Knights list. Trusting my luck, I went second and lost 1 Leman Russ, 1 breaching drill, and had a demo tank tagged in melee. As I learnt from my opponent, Knights are very turn 1 dependent, as they need to activate a lot of the defensive abilities in their command phase. The early stages of the game didn't go well for me, being highly outscored on primaries, including losing my home objective to an aggressive baby knight. The game started to turn 3 with me landing my scions and Hades breach and drill in my opponent's deployment zone, with it eating a baby knight the preceding turn, which was very satisfying. I ended up losing 71 to 92, with the primary letting me down, but also inflexible command scoring only 7. I failed to adequately plan my command squads, with 2 sitting pointlessly together most of the game. I should have had 1 sat on my home objective, with the other pushed out further with forward infantry squads, whilst they grabbed an objective in no man's land. My opponent did say that if I had got first turn, I may have actually won the game. Hammer the Emperor proved to be a brutal force multiplier, with a heavily wounded Leman Russ rolling 11 shots, hitting on 6s and then rolling 5 6s to auto wound, evaporating a baby knight. I stand by my belief that the only way to take edge of Hammer of the Emperor is volume of dice, so catechin or gunnery experts is vital. Game 2 was into Space Wolves, and I got a second turn again. After the mess up with my command squads in the first game, I carefully placed one on my home objective and another centrally forward. opted for boots, inflexible and retrieve Nukman data. Focusing on the basics, I carefully deployed to feed an infantry squad into the bottom right table quarter for boots turn 2, while fortifying my priority objective in the top left table quarter, which my opponent had chosen in the mission. I nearly tabled my poor opponent, with me probably winning the game at deployment, given I had strong fire lanes for my Russes, and the Space Wolves list had limited range firepower. I opted for retrieve Nukman data, given his list was typical of a Space Marine list, giving away minimal points for no prisoners or assassinate. He successfully screened out my Scions out of his table quarter, and ended up deploying my second Hades breach and drill right on the center objective to score 4 victory points on boots in turns 3, 4 and 5. I pulled the win at 93 to 68, with both scoring 45 on the primary, given the easy progressive objective for the mission, secure mission artifacts. I beat him on the secondaries, with unfortunately only scoring 3 on bring it down, 6 on engage and 4 on retrieve Nukman data. I pulled 15 on both inflexible and boots, and 8 on retrieve Nukman data. My last game was against a beautifully painted Thousand Suns list, including Magnus the Red. I went second again, with my opponent putting Magnus into reinforcements. His reasons for doing this was that in the first game he went up against another Astra Militarum commander, Callum, whom is a supporter and friend of this channel. He plays Cadian and he got first turn, and in his match he reduced Magnus to only 3 wounds in the first turn on account for a Gatekeeper equipped battle cannon tank commander, supercharged with a Vengeance for Cadia stratagem. My opponent played relatively aggressively, going after my infantry in turn 1, and teleporting 10 Rubik Marines into an exposed objective in no man's land, and decimating one squad and killing about 3 others in another squad. I subsequently flattened the poor blokes with 3 Leman Russes after I pushed up the single bolter Demolisher Russ onto the center objective to act as a smite sponge, which it most certainly was. I was lucky that my list has no psychics in it, meaning I could take a ball the witch. I've always debated including a psyker, on account for psychic interrogation being a good option in certain matchups, and some psychic mortal wound output is becoming more important, giving a lot of our key characters now have got wound caps per phase. Against the Thousand Suns, I scored 15 on a ball the witch, and as context, Callum's list included a single Astropath, so he couldn't take a ball the witch against Thousand Suns, nor against Grey Knights in his second game, to which given he scored 77 to 87 and 77 to 89, may have given him the game in both those scenarios. We both joke that it'll always be a matter of when you do bring a psyker, you wish you didn't, and when you don't bring a psyker, you wish you did. I ended up winning this match against Thousand Suns 96 to 90, with us both maxing our secondaries, and me scoring 15 on a ball the witch, 12 on boots on the ground, and 14 on inflexible command, with my opponent scoring 11 on behind bring it down, 15 on psychic interrogation, and 9 on razor banners high. I kept my Scions in deep strike, dropping them in to steal the objective in the bottom right table quarter, having picked off some Rubik Marines with a battle cannon weapon expert tank commander. Magnus the Red caused temporary chaos, flying right into my home table quarter and flattening a Leman Russ and consolidating into another. I laid the Primarch low thanks to mostly massed lasgun fire, peeling off about 6 wounds thanks to Hammer the Emperor, before a tank commander with multi-melters finished him off courtesy of Vengeance of Cadia. Magnus, having only a normal 3+ save, is actually pretty weak in the scheme of things. Sure, he's toughness 8 with a 4+ invul save, but an auto-wounding lasgun cares little for that. With demons set to get both shooting and fight phase invul saves, high volume firepower of Hammer the Emperor will give us a fighting chance into them. So from those 3 games, I came 16th of 42 players and scored best in faction. As said, Callum went into Thousand Suns, Grey Knights and also Sisters of Battle, losing each by no more than 10 points. The other Astra Militarum player fielded a beautiful list of all metal Khazrakans as Lamban Lion Scions, with also a glorious Marauder Bomber. He went into Sisters of Battle, Blood Angel Flesh Tearers and Space Wolves, winning against the Space Doggos. I didn't chat to him properly about each of his games, but he did say the Marauder survived 2 games and was a complete nuisance to his opponents. However, given all its AP-1 weapons, its damage output was stunted going into the 3 Armour of Contempt plays he went into. So what can we take from my performance? It's pretty obvious that Astra Militarum can still win in certain matchups. Whilst I am energized by my success, I wasn't exactly going into Tyranids, Necrons or Chaos Space Marines. I, however, am clear in my mind how to make boots on the ground and a flexible command work better together, giving me on average 13 victory points each across 3 games. Probably been said before by other people that guard now needs to be played quite defensively, maximising these 2 secondaries while scoring at least 8 on primaries, with your last secondary being opponent dependent. As I said at the top of the video, infantry units are now key to the secondaries, and using other high impact units like Leman Russ as the screens takes a bit of getting used to. What's hopefully interesting and re-energized to you as you take the fight back to the enemy with Astra Militarum. Hope it also helps you navigate the new secondaries, as I personally struggled for a while to make them work. Any questions, put them in the comments. Patron Platoon, sound off. Tank Commander Glenn, Tank Commander Mitchell, Tank Commander Watchdog Van Etten, Colour Sergeant DuPont, Sergeants Adal, Gilliam, the Colonel Merrill, Veterans Gibson, Hall, Lundeen, Guardsman Beard, Flint, Hills, Malik, Nitton, Nguyen, Smith, Tom, Tompkin, Conscript England.